Hello everyone, this is April. I'm back. I'm sorry I've been gone for quite a while, but I'm here to show you now how to paint zinnias. I had a viewer that requested that I do this well, she wanted to paint some for her mother, so her favorite flower. So I'm going to show you the simple way, and we're going to be using acrylic paints. And at the end of the video, I will have the list of the colors that I used. Here are the 3 brushes I'm going to be using. This is a flat, a round, and a filbert. A filbert is very similar to the flat brush, but you see that the top is rounded. That will make painting the petals a lot easier. Okay, and we have, let's see, our floating medium. I have a lot of questions about this. We use this to allow the paint to glide on your surface. And it's made for surfaces that are porous, like our paper, terracotta pots, canvas, wood, any surface where the paint is going to soak in. So this will allow it to spread a lot easier on your surface, and then also makes color kind of transparent or gives it a watercolor effect. And I'll kind of show you how we use that too, or get that effect. I'm using a sketch pad. I have a lot of questions on what am I using here, and I use this for demos, when I do demos, and this has a gray tone, and that makes the colors pop out a lot brighter. So let's get started here. I'm going to take my filbert brush, pick up a little bit of my medium and a dark, or my brown. This is burnt sienna, and I'm going to start off here with my yellow flower. And just going to add a little bit of this to the bottom or undercoat of my flower. And this has floating medium mixed to it, so it's a little transparent or kind of see-through, and we want that. Okay, so once we have that, I'm going to now pick up my yellow, same brush. I don't go into water. We want some of that color that's left on the brush when we paint these petals. And I'm starting from the outside and flicking towards the center. The center is right about there, so when I'm doing this, I'm making sure that I am flicking towards the center of the flower. And we start from the outside and pull in. Now I'm going to wipe off my brush and pick up now just bright yellow and start my second row. And the reason why I wiped it off, even though we're using similar colors, because that the outer petals have a little brown in it, and I want this second layer to really stand out and be bright. So that's why I wiped it off. And now this is pure yellow, which just makes it a lot brighter. And then my last row, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of white to my yellow and flick my small petals right in here. So we started off with a darker color in the background, and just the colors got slightly lighter as we pulled forward or worked our way forward. And now I'm going to just flick more petals or add some of that colors, some of the colors we used for the other petals to the back petals here. Okay, so a little bit. Just gives your painting a little more dimension, gives it a little 3D effect here, and makes all your petals stand out a lot better. Okay, so now we've got that finished. We're going to come back and do our center, and I'm just going to fill this in with a dark brown, making it slightly bigger because we're going to be adding those little yellow dots, and we want those dots to be on top of the brown so that this will stand out a lot better. So I'm going to squeeze out a little more yellow. I'm going to first start off with some dark brown, and I'm just picking up paint with the tip of my little round brush, and this is dark brown mixed with a little black. Tap, tap, tap. I'm going to go slightly out of the center, and now I'm going to add some bright yellow on top of that. Wipe off my brush and pick up pure yellow and just tap. So by putting some or applying some dark color underneath, the yellow will stand out a lot nicer. Okay, so there is that. I'm going to just darken my center a little bit right at the lower part here. So I just mixed a little bit of black to the dark brown. Okay, there is that. Now, same brush, I'm going to go back to my filbert and show you here the red one, and this has several different color shades of red. Okay, and we're going to pick up our floating medium with a little bit of this burgundy color, and I'm going to be overlapping a few of those petals there, and fill in. So mixing medium to the color, it makes it a little bit like a watercolor effect, kind of transparent. Okay, and when we do this, you try not to go perfectly smooth around the edges. We want those little lumps and bumps, okay? So once we have that, I'm going to pick up now my red, and we're going to start flicking our petals with our red. So this makes painting this flower a lot easier by using this brush. Okay, now I'm going to pick up my other shade here. This is another shade of red. So zinnias have a lot of layers, kind of like the marigolds. We start from the outside and we work in. So after I finish that, I'm just going to put a little hint of the color to the outside petals, a little bit. And it doesn't have to be to all the petals there. Now I'm going to pick up the same red mixed with a lighter color. So it gives you this shade here. And pull, pull. And we're going to add a few of those colors out here. And this is kind of like a red coral. It's a very pretty color. Okay, and maybe one more layer here using just that lightest shade. Okay, there we go. And remember, it's real important that you do aim for the center. Okay, so always remember that. And there we go. Now we're going to fill in our center, going back to this dark burgundy color. Make your center slightly bigger so your yellow dots will show. add a little black to that to darken or deepen that color. Going back to my little round brush and picking up yellow. Just gonna go and start adding the small dots. Really be careful with the pressure. You just want to be touching the tip of the brush. And it will probably be easier if you just wait till that center dries before putting this yellow on top of wet paint, because it does not want to stick very well. So you may want to do that. Wait till this dries. Okay, so there's all my yellows, my little yellow dots. You can go back and add a few of the dark red that we used here, just for a little more dimension to the dots. So I'm just putting a few of those right in here along with the yellow ones. Okay, there we go. You know what, these petals look a little funny right in here, so I'm gonna just add a few fill in. There we go. And at the end, you can always go back and kind of fix your painting a little if it needs a little color change or it needs more petals. Okay, get all the color out of that brush. Now I'm just going to use the same brush and fill in my leaves with your darkest green. So this is the green I have right here. Fill it in, and then right on the corner I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow, and then starting from the bottom I'm just going to flick and paint the outer part of the leaves. Pick up a little more, and same thing over here, start from the bottom and add your little stem in the center. Okay, we'll do the same thing. Go ahead and fill these others, and we're just putting in using the darkest green, and make sure you go around and underneath the petals to make it appear like your leaves are underneath. Okay, and a little bit of yellow on one side of the brush, and let that yellow kind of blend with your green. And I'm just pulling my chisel of the brush, which is your very bottom part of the brush, and just add to the outside, and go ahead and use your chisel to do that little stem down the center. Okay, just one more. You know, it sets a like an odd number of petals and things always looks better. So I'm just going to add my third leaf. Same way, fill it in with your darkest green, and you can decide on the green that you want to use because there's all different shades. Just remember that you want to make sure, you want to make sure it's your darkest green that gets applied to the bottom or underneath. Okay, and I'm just flicking the brush. Flick, flick, flick. And just going to add a little bit of that light green in there too. Okay. Just add a little bit of that. And making lines, sometimes it's easier with just a flat brush because you've got that nice flat chisel. It's going to give you a nice skinny line. So let me use that for this here. And I'm going to just pull the stem, laying my chisel and pulling from the center and pull out. Okay. And then a few little leaves out here, kind of transparent leaves. So this is using my flat, since I had that brush already. Now I'm going to show you how we use our filbert brush. So same thing, I'm picking up a little more of my medium, and this is going to give it a little kind of a see-through effect, or more of a lighter touch of the green. And I pick up a little bit of my flower color to my leaves. That always looks pretty. And maybe a few more right in here. So this is just touching from the bottom of the leaf and kind of turn the brush. Whoops. Sometimes when I go slowly, it just doesn't come out right. So here, I'm going to turn the surface here and here. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So it's all in the pressure of your brush that will kind of control your size. Okay, and just dragging my chisel for the stem. And remember, any chalk marks that gets left, if you just wait till it dries, this whole thing dries, you can go ahead and just wipe it off with your fingers. And I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video and give it a try at home. Thanks a lot for watching.